The world has changed a lot since 007's debut in 1962. By the time Gord and I went into production in the mid-90s, the Cold War was over. And so, said many experts, was James Bond's glittering career as a master spy. Well, he drove a tank through that particular theory.
Eine Revolution auf deutschem Boden.
When the Cold War ended, a lot of people thought spy stories were finished. And I imagine that the Bond producers must have been a bit worried and must have wondered, you know, whether they could carry on.
In London, April's a spring month.
Oh, yeah? What are you, the weatherman? If I'm crying out loud, another stiff-ass Brit. Your secret codes and your passwords. One of these days, you guys are going to learn just to drop it.
There was a real question about the relevancy of someone like James Bond in the world. And we had to confront that directly.
You don't like me, Bond. You don't like my methods. You think I'm an accountant. A bean counter, more interested in my numbers and your instincts.
The thought had occurred to me.
Everyone in the film, villains and even his own team, were taking a poke at James Bond. They were really questioning him.
Good. Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
So he wasn't seen as this superhuman anymore. And Robbie Coltrane's character would, like, take the mick out of Bond a bit.
James Bond. Charming, sophisticated secret agent. Shaken but not disturbed.
It could have had a weakening effect, I suppose, except that then, you know, immediately after he's been put down a bit, he's doing something utterly fantastically courageous and daring.
They updated it just enough to make it relevant, but at the same time kept the elements that you want from a Bond movie. And I think Pierce Brosnan is a great Bond to have at the moment.
I really, truly believe that Pierce is the best Bond, and I'm not just saying that. And you absolutely believe that he could be a spy. He can do a lot of the physical stuff, so that's not even asking people to suspend belief.
It is Bond back with a bang.
And you voted 007 creating havoc behind the wheel of a tank in St. Petersburg as best ever Bond moment #4.
GoldenEye was the first Bond film for 6 years, and all the diehards had come along and sort of taken what would traditionally be the Bond ground. So this was the attempt to really show they were still there. The scene definitely showed that they could still, you know, carry off a big stunt.
First time I saw that amazing tank chase was at the premiere. You think, how on earth would I, if I was a director, how on earth would I even begin to do that? Or shoot that?
Down the alley! I've seen lots of car chases and lots of helicopter chases and lots of motorbike chases and boat chases, but I can't remember too many other tank chases. Definitely not. It originally started off as a motorbike chase, and then we hit upon the idea of, well, why have a motorbike chase? He's in a military pen, as it were. Why doesn't he jump on a tank?
The idea of putting James Bond into a tank is fantastic. A tank can do pretty well anything. It's hard to destroy a tank, so... And tanks are slightly better than cars because they go through walls, right?
We had a lot of logistical problems. Streets were cobble streets. If you run a tank over that, it not only breaks the cobbles, but also destroys the sewer system under the pavement. So we had to put half-inch steel sheeting everywhere we're going to run the tanks. On top of that, we had to then put paving stones and build the street. So there was a lot of logistics involved in that.
For the sequences of complete mayhem and destruction, a life-size replica of a St. Petersburg street was created back in England.
One of the good things is that nobody gets hurt, actually. Lots and lots of property gets hurt. Cars, I mean, just always bursting into flame or being run over.
It's a Bond film. No general public gets killed. So we'd crush a police car and you'd always have to do a shot of the policeman getting out.
Things keep happening, they keep piling on and on and on. It's like a slapstick silent movie or something.
What was that? The tank chase is in the great tradition of Ealing comedies, because in Ealing comedies there's a chase. You'd always at some point go past a fruit stall. This is a thing that always happened in Ealing comedies, and you were very pleased to see it, and you'd always get the fruit seller going like that.
At that point, it was the most expensive Bond sequence ever or something, and it needed to be. That is money well spent, because Bond needed to say in GoldenEye, we can deliver the goods.
Bond films set the precedent. You can never do something twice. It's always got to be different, and you've always got to strive to do something different.
You'd think a man so dedicated to saving the world would have little chance to do anything else. But while Bond is busy getting his man, he usually has time for the women too. So let us remind ourselves of the girls that James has loved and lost. To lose one is unfortunate, but to lose so many, it's damned careless.
Oh, I enjoy a spirited ride as much as the next girl.
This bed feels like a cage.
Somebody's gonna have my ass. I'll just go and put some clothes on.
I don't go to any trouble. Would you like it harder?
James.
Bond always starts each new movie without the girl that he finished up with, but you never see her being dumped, or indeed her dumping him. The slate is wiped clean.
Great sport, this bunting.
I couldn't agree with him more.
I may even give up golf for it.
James Bond was the first time that English actresses were allowed to be sexy, and I mean allowed.
Souvenir from another jealous woman.
Yes, but I haven't turned my back on one since.
Previous to that, if we were playing anything, you know, it was all sweetness and light and rosebud mouths, and we all spoke a bit like that, you know.
When did you say you had to leave?
The Bond girls aren't sort of trashy, jump into bed. Although they do jump into bed with him, there is something so refined about them.
You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
Thank you. But I think my mouth is too big.
No, it's the right size.
The names of the Bond girls are all probably fairly self-explanatory.
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
Now, you couldn't get away with a name like that today, could you? Pussy Galore, good gracious me.
I must be dreaming.
The name Pussy Galore has followed me around, and it was very strange when I went to the States to do the promotion tour for Goldfinger. There were some interviewers who wouldn't say it.
I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.
You just found her.
That's Holly Goodhead.
A woman?
Your powers of observation do you credit, Mr. Bond.
My favourite Bond girl name is Chew Me.
How's the water?
Why don't you come in and find out?
Sounds very tempting, Miss...
Chew Me.
You're just asking for it if you're going to say that name to Roger Moore. You know, the eyebrow goes up.
Really? Well, there's only one small problem. I have no swimming trunks.
Neither have I.
Some of the women in Bond films were just bimbos who fell flat on their backs when they saw Sean Connery, as well you might.
Hello.
Felix, say hello to Dink.
Hi, Dink.
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.